Good morning and welcome to another episode of Situation Today with Gulf Business. My name is Neesha Salian. We're here with Samir Ranavaya, the CEO and co-founder of Innerspace. Innerspace is one of the leading kitchen design studios in the country, and we look forward to hearing a lot of trends and business developments in the field and sector from Samir. So Samir, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me, Neesha.
Just to kick it off, Samir, Dubai is home to so many successful entrepreneurs, so many success stories that we hear every single day, and you're one of them. So if you could tell us a little bit about your journey and then, your foray into high-end kitchens, I'd love to hear about it.
I'll give you the short story. I was reflecting on this recently, actually. So let's go way back to 1990. Sure. I was at a boarding school. Mm-hmm. I was actually a day boy. So I was traveling to and from school every single day. And there was a very, very strict policy on chocolates and sweets. It was just not allowed in school. However, I recognized the fact that the boarders at the school still wanted these chocolates and sweets badly. And I would walk past a sweet shop every morning on the way to school. And I just thought, I'll pick a few up and dish them around. Something really funny happened. They started paying with £5 notes. So the chocolate would be 30 pence and they'd pay £5 for it. That was how much they wanted it. And they said, don't worry about the change. I thought, this is good. And then that's how I guess it started. I just got that, wow, you just solve a major problem and make some profit. I think that was my first sort of dive into entrepreneurship, I guess. Mm-hmm. And then I learned a lot of lessons in that journey as well. Before I knew it, a few other people found out what I was doing, so they would do the same. So then I had to deal with competition. Mm-hmm. And what was the edge? Well, I lived so close to the school that I would be able to deliver next day faster. And I learned, when I reflect, there are so many things in the life journey that you think, wow, those are all the little things where I learned these basic principles of entrepreneurship and how to deal with the challenges that come. Fast forward, though, I grew up in an entrepreneurial family. Mm-hmm. My father had a very, very successful textile business in the UK. He eventually brought that here mm-hmm. In the early 2000s. And I was working in that business. And it was a very, very successful business. But during my youth, I always had this deep down passion for design, for technology, mm-hmm. for art. I was a really, really keen artist at school in my younger years. And it started to show up when we would look around all the beautiful villas that are being built. I'd be drawn to the interior side of things, and I'd look at it from an artistic lens or a design technology lens of, we can make this better, mm-hmm. we can make that better. Why is it happening like this, etc. And so that's where I really, really delved into the space of interiors, I guess. Mm-hmm. The original idea was we wanted to be a fabricator of stone work surfaces. Which are often found in kitchens, in bathroom vanities, flooring. So that's where I saw a gap. But then when we did the market study, we walked around town, we visited bathroom and kitchen studios. This is back in 2009. I soon realized that why isn't Häcker Kitchens, why can't I find Häcker Kitchens? The largest producer of German kitchens in its field, in the high end. Why can't I find them anywhere? I gave them a call, and the person that's responsible for the region, we got on well on the phone call. They liked the idea that we had for the stone tops, etc. But I think he foresaw something else, and he said, "Why don't we meet up for lunch tomorrow? I'm in Dubai." And we met up. And I think the kitchen business, like many businesses, is very much a people business. And we had a synergy. And they said, well, you've been walking around Dubai looking at kitchen studios for your business, and you haven't found Häcker. there is the problem that we have to solve together. And that was it. It all happened very, very quickly, and that was it. We were appointed the Häcker Kitchen's partner in the UAE, and we've never looked back. Yeah.
Wow. And that's a great story. I
Yeah.
mean, it's showing your transition to, to where you are today.
Yeah.
I believe you're completing your 15th anniversary in the the kitchen design space.
Yep. We're celebrating 15 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
What are the key lessons you've learned over these 15 years in terms of trends? What have you picked up? Because Dubai has evolved as well.
Yeah.
It has risen in prominence as home to high-end luxury real estate and a lot of high net worth individuals who are moving here as well.
Yeah.
So if you could just walk me through what you've seen evolve or develop over these 15 years, that would be great.
Kitchen culture has massively changed in the UAE since I've been here. And the kitchen was very much seen as a utility space back in the day. It was seen as a place where heavy-duty cooking is done. Often there's staff in that room. Think of it like a laundry but for food, right? It was a tucked-away room in the back of the house. And it has drastically changed into a living space, I would say. So we call it a living kitchen. There's people who want open plan, a big kitchen. They want it to be a center of the home where celebrations happen, where relationships are forged. So it's very much turning into that living kitchen, which it has been for a very long time that I've experienced in Europe and in England. It has been a central part of the home as a living space and not so much a utility space. And that's what we're seeing now. That's where the shift is happening. And that's not to say in Dubai there's the luxury of these huge, amazing villas that are built. There can be a living kitchen, and for the real heavy-duty, smelly, oily, smoky cooking, that can happen in a back kitchen, which is more closed off. So this is something that I've seen in the UAE that I've never seen so much elsewhere, of having a huge living kitchen where all the entertaining, etc. happens. And it's open to the rest of the home as well in many cases. And then you have a back kitchen, which is the more utilitarian kitchen.
Okay, so that's interesting to know as well. What about terms of, say, material, the materials used, layouts and things like that? Are you seeing a trend towards, you mentioned, of course, there's that show kitchen and then the back kitchen as well. Yeah. But do you see any particular preference for, is it more industrial-looking kitchens or a warmer space? What are you seeing that's surprising you as well?
The interior trends of the kitchen space, we can look at it through the lens of the fashion industry. There are things that are all the rage that year, or for a couple of years, and these things do come and go. There were trends of having, teal kitchens, green accents, a lot of colour coming into the kitchen, and that's amazing. And we do a fair few kitchens like that. But in addition to trends, what is also really, really important for us to look at is what has never changed. And how can we master that? And how can we offer that and evolve on the quality aspects and the service aspects? So I'll give you an example. People have always wanted high quality. Whether they have the budget or the disposable income for that or not is a different topic altogether. But if you had the opportunity, people would usually opt for a higher quality thing. So high quality is very, very important. The ergonomics of the kitchen, how things work, are things in the right place? If you're left-handed, you would prefer your drawers and cutlery and utensils to be on a certain side and not the other. You naturally swing a certain way, which is according to your own mental makeup, basically. And these things never change. People need personalized ergonomics in the kitchen. So that's never changed. And that's something we very, very much focus on. People want fantastic service. People want everything yesterday as quickly as possible without compromise. That's never changed. So fantastic service and communication and delivery times. These are the things that have never, ever changed. And that's what we work on, I would say, 80% of the time, of making that more and more robust. But in terms of trends, changes that are coming or innovations that are coming, there is a trend towards natural materials that I've seen over the last 5, 6, 7 years. And it's very, very much human nature. We're part of nature. We love to be in nature. We all know the feeling when we go to a park or a national park and we look at all the beauty of nature. And nowadays, when we're living in very, very urban areas, subconsciously, knowingly or unknowingly, we miss that and we yearn for that. So you'll notice that kitchens are becoming open spaces with large windows, the outside in living spaces. So when we talk about kitchens specifically, you can see there's so many more natural stones, or even if they're man-made stones, like porcelain or quartz, they are taking on the patterns and designs of natural stones, and that technology is getting better and better. So you get to see, these beautiful patterns of marble and granite. That's very much coming back. There were lots of downsides to having natural stones. Although they look beautiful, you can put a mug on the tabletop, and you'll notice there's a ring that's left. If it's olive oil or vinegar or something acidic, it's going to leave that mark. But nowadays, there's so much technology in man-made stone, is you can get that look of the natural material. It's created in a sustainable way. We're not taking it out of the earth as much as we used to. And we get all the upsides of making it stain resistant, moisture resistant, and it's a lot more hard wearing. So that sort of design trend is very much on the rise, of using natural materials and natural looking materials. We want to be reminded of that nature. And the same translates into the doors as well, the doors of the kitchen. We tend to use a lot more veneer and natural wood looking elements, basically. And it doesn't have to be all wood, just elements of that, just to get that feeling of warmth and nature. Oh. Yeah.
Oh, that's good to know, because obviously sustainability and all of that, like you said, people want to get closer to nature, or at least feel like they are.
Yeah.
And the kitchen is such a space where family does spend quite a lot of time. So that's key. Just in terms of the customer experience. I think that would be one of the leading factors for your success as well. What can somebody expect when they walk into your design studio, and right down to delivery? How soon does that happen? So just to give our viewers and listeners a chance to understand what they can expect at Innerspace.
We want customers to experience excellence. Now that's a term that's used so often these days. What is excellence? So for us, excellence is absolute aesthetic beauty. We want people to come into the showroom and just be wowed by all the details, the use of space, that feeling of real beauty and, aesthetic excellence. Then there's the excellence in quality. When people are actually looking at the kitchens, we encourage them to go in and open everything and have a look and feel the glide of the drawers, feel the feeling of the wood when they open the door, feel its robustness, feel how strong it is. So really the integrity of the materials, we want them to touch and feel everything, and they get to do that. In our kitchen studio, we have 8 big kitchen displays of different materials, and it's deliberately done that way so that people can get a feel of all the different materials and really feel the quality and integrity. So there's that side of excellence, the whole quality side of things. Then there's the excellence of the actual professionalism and expertise that our team shows. So we talk less and we listen more, because it's very much a personalized individual experience, and that's the design process as well. We want the kitchen to be as individual as the client, and for it to be a reflection of their personality, a reflection of their culture and how they use the home and their kitchen. So it's all ears, and then we can consult them and advise them in the right direction and guide them through the process, basically. So there's the excellence of the sales team, and then it follows through. You know, we maintain this level of excellence throughout the customer journey. Once the design is done and we actually have to execute, that's the challenging part, to get things done on time to a high quality, and just make the journey enjoyable, because our customers are really excited about their home renovation, their kitchen renovations, and we want it to be a memorable, fun, enjoyable part of the experience.
So customization is also key, like
Yep.
you said. Obviously, you give them that freedom to choose, and then you mix and match. How long does it take, like I was saying, just in terms of the time to get that kitchen fitted into their homes, if it's not a really complicated sort of, well, there's nothing like complicated for you. You guys can achieve it.
Sure, yeah.
The customers want. But how long does it take, just to get an idea about it?
It could take about 12 to 16 weeks, depending on the size, complexity
Right.
of the actual kitchen. Many times we also air freight our kitchens as well. So that cuts off a month. But it's something that that is extremely workable, because some of the projects, if they're being professionally managed, these sorts of things will be built into the program of when we're going to need the kitchen. So it is more than enough time if it's carefully planned out project. And anything good is worth the wait.
Yeah.
And we are one of the fastest manufacturers of kitchens as well. The Häcker factory is really something incredible, so efficient. Everything that we expect from the German ethos of manufacturing is there: high quality, absolute precision, and so well organized. That makes us one of the fastest manufacturers as well.
Without naming names, do you have an anecdote about a client that really challenged you, but you delivered, and it's been an excellent experience for them as well? Anything that you recall in your 15 years?
I can't remember an anecdote, but we generally have this feeling of customers extremely excited about their new space, especially if it's a huge villa renovation.
Right.
And we don't get involved in the actual construction part of the villa, but it's a long process and a complicated one. And in the construction industry, things don't always go to plan for whatever reason, more often than not. And this is where customers have come back to us, and they've said, "Oh, I've got this going on my site, and I'm having a nightmare with, this aspect of the build, and this isn't on time." But something I heard recently, so I do remember something I heard recently from a customer. They said, "The Häcker Kitchen is one element that came through, and it's a part of the house that I don't need to worry about amongst all this chaos." And that for me that really, really meant a lot for the whole team. That they'd given us that level of trust when they decided to go with Häcker Kitchens,
Right.
and for us to not breach that trust and get that feedback from them of, wow, I don't need to worry about the kitchen. It's in safe hands.
Well, that's good to hear, and
Yeah.
obviously you're very trusted. You're a trusted name in the business. Just looking at, obviously 15 years of whatever you've achieved, what do you see yourself doing? What's out there for Innerspace in the future for another 15 or another 5?
Yeah, great question. Well, the story of Dubai is incredible. I'm so grateful to be here and be part of the journey. The outlook is very, very positive. It has to be. We're all driving it, right? And we make it what it is. And the amount of homes that are being built, the amount of families and bigger household units that are being attractive to relocate to Dubai, the number of people that are really, really confident in Dubai and where it's going, and they're going from rented to buying, and then buying to actually enhancing homes and going to larger homes. It's all going in the right direction. So as a result, we've found that Dubai is spreading as a landmass, and where we see a great opportunity is we want to be as close to our customers as possible. And we want to be as convenient as possible. So I see the future in really identifying which are the key communities that are far enough away to warrant more kitchen design studios that customers can go to, but not so close that it wouldn't make sense to be so close to our flagship showroom on Sheikh Zayed Road. And you know, we notice this every single day. I had my favorite malls. I still have my favorite malls, but now because of traffic and traffic issues, or just having the convenience of having something near my doorstep, I would go to that. And I'm like, I would naturally do that if I was designing a kitchen. If I had a really, really good studio nearby, I would go to that studio. So that's going to be the key. We've got to identify the up and coming communities and build more satellite design studios around Dubai. So that's what we have in store.
We'll look forward to hearing more about that expansion and growth.
Yeah.
And just on a parting note, if you had words of advice for other entrepreneurs, you know, like yourself, who are starting out maybe in the sector, what would your tips be for them?
It's a great question. I'm not a fan of giving advice, so I'll frame it in a different way.
Okay.
Of what would I tell myself if I could go back to a 25, 30-year-old me, or I could say what has really worked well for me. So I would say go into it for all the right reasons. I see many entrepreneurs that are getting on the money-making bandwagon, and that seems to be the goal. But I found it doesn't work that way. Find out who you are. What is your purpose? What is the gap or the problem that needs to be solved in the world, in the community? How can you use your authentic talents, not the talents of somebody else, your authentic talents, to then fill that gap? And depending on the complexity of the problem you're solving and the number of people that you're helping or serving, the money that you're rewarded will be a reflection of that. So it's really focus on your craft, find out who you are, what is your mental makeup, what is your purpose, your deep sense of purpose, what is going to fulfill you, and I think that just makes you much more self-aware, and it enables us to become more aware of others' needs. So therefore we can serve a lot better, and it's a lot more fulfilling. And the great news is it does result in profitability, because that's just the way the world works. So I think that self-awareness and reflection and introspection is a key practice that I feel is a little bit missing, and the bottom line is taking too much focus. The bottom line is extremely important, but the activities and the intention behind generating that is much more important. I think that leads to a much more fulfilling experience of entrepreneurship.
Well, thank you. And, those are great words for our viewers and listeners to take home when they watch this episode. And thank you so much for giving us a window into the world of Innerspace and Häcker Kitchen.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
We look forward to inviting you to our studios and for more, to more details on trends and the growth that we expect Innerspace to achieve this year and beyond. So thank you so much again, Samir. Look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you, Neesha.
Thank you to our viewers and listeners. For more news, for business news, for podcasts, go to gulfbusiness.com. Thank you so much for joining us.